COVID. So the surveillance been do very, very active case search, and then we notice well, from the test they will do from the primary contact, they been get 8 positive cases. But surveillance been activate and protocol and everything there under control.
So now Kaila no more?
Now Kaila done in western area, urban. Occasionally we can get slight increase in cases.
Okay, so generally you say increase in the number of cases the way una dey record, especially
by
for this week.
1.7%.
Yeah. So what are the causes them of than the general
well,
increase?
Now say we don't increase the number of tests. So if we increase the number of tests, we will expect say we will get cases very high. Out of then this 6 there. They get case out of the 16 districts. Of which just between 3 and 5 districts, they get cases down. We get Cambia, we don't go 72 days today, they don't get any case. We get Karine, we don't go 55 days, they don't get any case. We get Kono, we don't go 17 days, they don't get any case. Fujian don't go 23 days, they don't get any case. Moyamba don't go 26 days, they don't get any case. Falaba don't go 39 days, they don't get any case. Koinadugu don't go 50 days today, they don't get any case. Bo don't go 18 days, they don't get any case. Bond don't go 41 days, they don't get any case. Bombali don't go 33 days, they don't get any case.
Okay, so for the districts them where no get case them, now the random test where they know they do, make una then case they know they come up?
No, then they do tests every day. We don't get increased number of cases because we get the surge, we don't even extend to other districts. We go inside the community, we test other people and so now that make we get cases If we been safe because of the numbers there don't drop, we not go out, sometimes not me for the get case. But we want to make sure say we test all sides so that when we get them figure we say with confidence say yes, they figure we don't go all sides, we not get case.
Okay. So with the opening of schools, colleges, church and mosque them, we are not say that they contribute to the increase in the cases them like we just say so.
We not go deal like this forever. When they come to what we call the new normal. And we want to see how Corona they deal with saving lives. We they save lives and also we they also try for for save livelihoods. People in day-to-day activities must go on, or called business continuity. We relax some of the measures there, but that not a license for say Corona not in the country, because a lot of people they with the idea say where you see school and don't begin the open so now. Church and mosque and people in the good other side and they open interdistrict lockdown, the east, then feel say Corona not done. Corona still in the country, it's still in our neighboring countries, it's still in other parts of the world. And when school they open, we not say it deal with a lot of picking away in us within a different setting than they go to the school. So the Ministry of Education and other partners them and NACOVAC and the Ministry of Health don't come together for put measures in place for make when them because they go to school then go now a safe environment.
So most of them people they know they adhere to the rules and regulations the way they forfeit the sick.
Yes, I agree with you. Now that make we not ever stop and we will continue for give education to people and talk to communities for let them see the reason. And if you use mask now any community correctly, that community they believe you me the case that they put on we don't prove them. If any community they 2 weeks when they use mask correctly, after that 2 weeks they're not going to even record any case.
Okay, so when they think of any additional measures the way NACOVA go put in place, especially for schools, colleges, and church and mosque them where they open now.
Yes, and the Ministry of Education, them don't come up with their own measures in place where they in line with the NACOVAC and Ministry of Health thinking and guidelines waiting for them. And we want to intensify the measures and they let not be to say we're picking and go school back and picking and they come on a different homes. And then interact pass with the big one.
Okay.
So we don't want the situation where pikin and go, then go back na house, then go become super spreaders. We don't want that one.
The issue of for was and for wear face mask now one way the culture don't they die among people especially now some public office system the way you go they meet even water or soap for washing and it's like the culture they die. So what do you think about that? Una feel say now one part the reason in this way they make they get fluctuation in the cases.
COVID not done na salon yet. And if we continue with the measures, they are fine. But if we not continue, what thing will happen? We will get upsurge of cases. And if we get upsurge of cases, waiting people and they go for they say lockdown day, interdistrict travel restriction, we go cancel down the back.
Well, that's Nabin our Thomas when they talk to Wani Gauja inside the interview day with the updates about NACOVAC, their activity and the call on people for continue for do the thing them with NACOVAC Minopulado. Well, the program na midday show will come to you live from Indie Democracy 98.1 FM. And as I've been introduced earlier, inside the program today, we get Sir Nepo. We in at the head of communications na EDSA. And they also for tell you about EDSA the operations. And we'll talk about this Boku meter thief we they now na the country. Well, first of all, welcome one more time again to the program midday show.
Thank you.
Yes, and first of all, Sir Nepo, you will just give me an overview of EDSA the operation so far.
Of course, thank you again very much. As you see, me as Nepo, the head of communications for the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority, we call EDSA. EDSA na a utility company we established by an act of parliament. Of course, the establishment which we sister company, we are the electricity generation and transmission company, and also we get the electricity and water regulatory commission. So at the time we unbundle the then MPA, and then the companies have become out through the act of parliament. So we as EDSA, we main responsibility now for ensuring we supply and distribute electricity. Then and also we get a sister company Nigeria responsible for generate electricity. So of course, when it comes to the distribution and supply of electricity, it solely rests on the shoulder of the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority. And then I make over the years, you don't see say the customers them only they get interface with EDSA and not the other agencies established by the Act. So we mean to say now they provide meters for the customer because now we responsibility that day. It mean to say now we ensure say the communities and get transformers for able to get access to electricity. Now we also then ensure say we run the trunk lines, then are the erect the poles, cables for able for transport power at the communities. We also responsible for ensure say we expand electricity in our unserved communities. We also the ensure say, of course, we satisfy the needs of the people by we also responsible for ensuring people get access to credit for the meters. And then I make before now we people will get problems when the then MPA will take over. If you do a feasibility study and now you see say we don't get a lot of aggregators when are then they sell credits on behalf of EDSA and then they all over the country. So at every given point to say possibly they will get access for recharge your meter. So overall responsibility now for supply and distribute electricity to Sierra Leoneans.
Okay, you don't give an overview, but the responsibility of EDSA. Now, look inside EDSA work we you have don't mention say now we are responsible for make sure say people then get lights and make sure say whosoever want to get the lights from now on the shape and give people and people are able get good way out the lights emit them. But one thing for sure we certain people on the grumble now the quality of the lights we EDSA give in terms of the voltage. What do you say about that?
Yes, I not go overrule the fact for say there are certain areas where you get voltage issue. Of course, if you don't follow the discussion on TV by the Minister of Energy and even other stakeholders within the sector. Of course, that not something we they don't mention for see. Of course, the network now Freetown now a very old network, and because the network old, it become weak by the day, and once it become weak, in order to accommodate the much needed power for transport to residents. Of course, we're not oblivious of the fact that Naramekuti we do as a ministry, as EDSA. There is this project ongoing called Energy Utility Reform Project. This project here, if you go now by Region 2, Lumley, Wilberforce, Tekam, Congo Cross, you must go down meet up people and they change cables and poles. That's now for would they change the cables them, would they change the poles them so that we go strengthen the network. What do we mean by that? If we're able to strengthen the network, it means to say would they able to supply light to the people and then self realize the light to the supply to them. Because of course certain areas because they get weak network, then would they like to go the dim, the dull, they're not able to enjoy the quality of supply. So the minister said no, this is unacceptable. So if you don't get a project over or they go over a year now, the project they own, not only one area, they rehabilitate the whole network in Africa. So now I make if right now as I talk, then they on the field, we then go to this area, then they switch that area they off, then ensure the EX poles, then string the line, run the cables, and reconnect to now back on the grid. And when they reconnect to now, all the side the way you see say they don't do changes, you see say people really enjoy the quality of supply now because now brown new cables and brown new poles that they erect. We mean to see it will get more strength for able to get for take power to customer them. So of course that is an issue we go down with our GGs now because the solution they on course and very shortly that project will come to an end and will come to an end. You mean to see Freetown don't get a brand new network as well. So of course I want to assure the people of for say and particularly the areas that really experience low voltage for say when them be out no let them be out small, this project could reach now the community and once you reach now the community then we realize quality in supply.
Yeah, changing of the poles and cable them now one. Another issue again, we are most area they face with the light now the issue of the transformer. Some area in the like main area so the transformer already they can during the evening time, no know if now we can get too much load, they know where go off for himself, passing get for call, they get for take delay, for then can put on again waiting on I do towards that.
Again, a very good way you carry that point there. And they can blend the two. Then at the first one we'll discuss we get to do with the network and also this transformer. Of course, transformer is part of the network as well. So waiting I want for me the people to know is for every community, for instance, if uh, uh, God not get electricity supply, then they write to EDSA. We do go to engineer and they do visibility study. We will say they go check the number of houses and would they then check how many pole distance, then check all and get what will be the requirement. Now based on the requirements, they will now advise for say, will they go put 100 kVA, will they go put 200 kVA, will they go put 500 kVA. So based on the requirement, now that kind of installation they will do. What thing that only happen over the years is this. For instance, after we don't do the visibility study, we don't run the network, we don't install transformers, we don't put poles, we don't put cables. People they now they go then join per that line without any recourse to EDSA. They need to even inform EDSA anymore. They go they expound on that line there. And when you expand on the line without coming back to EDSA for advice, what does that mean? It means to say you they weaken the transformer because the transformer is designed for accommodate that particular study will be do. So if the transformer for accommodate 100 people, then you don't go add other 50 household panel. It means to say the transformer will give the required output. We mean to say that light we forget we will give that kind of quality we desire. You don't get them because they don't expound on the line. Now I make almost always with advise the people for say when you want to be connected to we grid, when you want to be connected to the network, it is very important that you come to EDSA and also make request to EDSA because now we know how we go do them. If you tell we now say you want to go join by the line, we will check whether the transformer for able accommodity or for need for do another adjustment or we need for inject another transformer for able serve the rest of the other people. So the proper thing for do is come to EDSA when you want to be connected. If you don't build the host, you want to get access to electricity, come to EDSA and tell us, say, I get me host at some point, I want to get access to electricity. Then we'll go there and do a study again and try to fix you and connect you to the grid.
Okay, continue for there with me. In name na Sanepo and in the head of communication na it's EDSA for TV but it's operation, and when we come back we can look at the meter issue. But the program they continue, the program midday show, and me will bring the program come to you. My name is Samuel Evers. We look at another issue now inside the program. Also, for make them able to achieve the vision of the Ministry of Tourism for improve better tourism na Salone, the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs don't engage with civil society organization them for suitable eco-tourism. Also, Deputy Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs William Robinson say for make more international investor and tourism come Salone, they need partner them for work with for help promote and rebrand Salone tourism. Sabtu Kalon gets more on this and now reports.
Ecotourism get for do with natural environment. Outside in kind area where people can call ecotourism site can get tree, river, safe environment with natural green scenery surrounding. And Salone get side them when a ecotourism environment. And the main ecotourism sites na Salone na Takugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary. Outside and get animal them like monkey, chimpanzee and other one them. But the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs with National Tourist Board believe say the role of sustainable ecotourism not just stop with them, as them believe say they need other people them on board. And this will make the Ministry of Tourism and National Tourist Board with support from the United Nations Development Fund program be engage civil society them for see the role where CSO them go play for sustainable ecotourism na Salone. William Robinson, now the Deputy Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, he explained about the kind of partnership where they need with civil society them.
We don't find out say we want for grow with a speedy manner. But how we go grow? We need partners that will for sell it out. And one of the partners that will know say that they locally at local levels all over the country, none of the civil society organizations. Everywhere you go in chiefdom, villages, they are there. So we want to use that structure for let we say be part of the progress in this nation. And tourism will need a lot of partners.
William Robinson continues say they need the civil society organization and other partner them for sell the ministry in vision on tourism. We don't forget more international investor and tourists them we go get the confidence and reason for come Salone.
For set out with visions about tourism. How do we want tourism to grow? How can we encourage international investors or tourism or what go motivate them for Canada this country? Yeah? And if they Canada this country, what go motivate them for going to the hinterlands? Because tourism is not only Freetown. There are more touristic sites in the provinces that more than the Umba centers. For medicine help we for see how best we go attract the attention of our local people. For them they will say tourism is like moving from one place to another place, because there are people here they just know Freetown, they don't even know Waterloo. Some of them they don't even know my Shakan.
The Deputy Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, William Robinson, and say plenty side in the country where people in Salone not even know about. But say with civil society where they can begin work with, this go make them bring most of the inside come to the public and the facility where then different tourism sites here get. Inside in talk for encompassing civil society organization them, Andrew Lavalley, the Executive Director na Institute for Governance Reform, IGR, be start for talk about the country in culture and tradition, where he say people know the practice again like how it be day before.
In fact, it is appearing that a child born in Freetown and a child born in Bo and Makeni can be as ignorant in Mende culture, in Bimba culture, just as a child born in London. That's how far we have endangered. But we ignore organizations, Moro, Wunde, Bundu, Angani. These are culture and the tradition that we should market.
And Wulavali continue say they ready for work with Ministry of Tourism and National Tourist Board, and they be outline issue them where them for look at where will get the involvement of civil society organization them on the road to sustainable ecotourism na Salone.
It's at the heart of tourism is a recognition of traditional organizations. They could be CBOs. How much are you utilizing community-based organizations in those communities? Local civil society organizations can be trained to make calls for a combination, and that's for the management of natural resources, How do we support us to demand standards? How do we share and disseminate your own policies? It's a question of participation. And participation actually looks at what is the role of local citizens. So for all the policies that you've been developed, those that are going to be affected by those policies, what was their input? What civil society can do is not just to disseminate those laws, those policies and programs, but how do we ensure that there is what we call the input? They are not just users of the policies, but makers and shapers of the policies.
Inside this engagement of the role of CSO to sustainable ecotourism, different civil society organizations may do presentation. Also, they explain what the different role and thing them where they go do for help promote and rebrand the tourism sector and achieve sustainable ecotourism na salon. For the Society for Radio Democracy, me na Saptiyo Kalon.
The program na Midday Show will come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. And still inside the program, we get Sanepo, the head of communications na EDSA, with give you updates about EDSA operation in the country. Now I come back to you, Sanepo. One other issue we consumer only get with EDSA na with regards meter. And this meter issue na we plenty problem in the with them. First of all, I hope say EDSA must not get the complaint about meter and T1 we don't rampant now in the country. Waiting una do for make sure say una help salvage this situation.
Thank you very much for that question. Of course, I will start for make very clearly to the people of this country. For say, of course, EDSA responsible for ensure say we provide meters for the customers and potential customers. And also, what did not happen? When the Honorable Minister of Energy, Alhaji Kanjasi, say assume office, and we realize, say, of course, we get challenges with getting meters for customers. So what you do? Then he go through the legal procedures, and also if we can forget together with his team, we get a third party vendor who call within this vendor financing. Now we go to vendor financing with our office. We get a company with a wholly investment in office then I can Street. Now then wholly responsible for ensuring then count metal and sell give with customers. So we mean to say that kind of problem will be try to meter the way people don't get issue for access meter. Now not a problem anymore because now where you go do all your processes, you write, give you documents where they require, you pay your money within 7 to 10 days. You for don't get access to your meter. So now we don't care for resolve that thing. Then I believe say customer then they enjoy that services they with no grumble. So now what also don't happen over the years is that even when we as EDSA we don't strive very hard for ensure say we provide the services as required by our customer them. We get certain people in the communities in our towns and we then they no more for bring EDSA for bring EDSA can be in as we try for progress. Now of course we get people in our communities we then they don't work now they don't fend for themselves. Now for they go to house, they pull meter, people they don't sleep, pull meter in the house, then go sell and get on a person and do all the things them with the meter we they cause problem to the customer because if you don't go pull the customer meter that means you know they can forget access to electricity again. If you don't pull that meter at the customer also mean to say you don't deprive EDSA from collecting revenue. So you see you get effect on both the customer and also EDSA. So that make we as EDSA we frown at this kind of act and we want to make them very clearly to the public for say EDSA established by an act of parliament and the act spell them out very clearly for say if the one that would involve by issues like illegal abstraction of electricity and also interfering with EDSA facilities, there's a penalty to that. So I want to let people know say the Electricity Act of 2011 make them very clearly. We talk for say willfully tampering or adjusting of installation because done an installation we don't go install a meter we EDSA now get the authority for install meter now we get the authority for inspector now we get the authority if you want for pull and back for pull and not to any other person. So this law they say it reads a person who willfully tampers with or adjust any installation or part of an installation so as to cause or likely to cause injury to human life or damage any apparatus or other properties commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not less than 70 million euros. Not less than 70 million euros. I emphasize that to let people know. Or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or to both imprisonment and the fine. So this they tell you say the lawmaker very clearly for say if they catch anybody they interfere with EDSA in infrastructure, something when EDSA gets where you not get authority for interfere, you interfere and you divert, you make EDSA not able for use them as it's supposed for use them. It means to say don't commit an offense. And the lawmaker very clearly say the law will fine you 70 million euros or you go imprisonment for not less than 5 years. So this we want to make people know say this act we can begin set examples. We can begin make and we'll hold person anybody will hold from now going forward will hold involved by that kind of act there with the discipline you as the act indicates now, and also they make them public, make the whole world know say you now this kind of business here you did. Even with the government, even in the Ministry of Energy, even with EDSA, they try for push the light business go before you say no, you for bring up the ministry can be and you for bring EDSA can be and this kind of act and thing we not tolerate. Recently you see say the parliament be summoned EDSA and the ministry, and some of the things that we parliament make very clearly now illegal abstraction of electricity theft for the people with thief light, all of them things that they hinder the progress of the sector. So we want to make people they know see that kind of act here now a punishable act, and that kind of act here in unacceptable by EDSA and the Ministry of Energy as a whole, and therefore now I want to make it very clear even the minister they advocate as I talk they advocate now for make we get an electricity court, because we get an electricity court that means say any person who hold where they do things that will not correct within the electricity domain, they bring it kind of court and the court will fast track your case and we will find you as to the crime you commit. Then you go no say yes. That kind of thing they are we not there tolerate them. Now that make in as much as we know responsibility, we know say we get the responsibility for ensure say we provide electricity, we get the responsibility for ensure say people that enjoy the quality of supply we give them, we get the responsibility for ensure we provide meters, we provide the basic social amenities we can to electricity issues. We are doing it. We try our best for ensure say we deliver the services to the people. Also, we require say the customers, the general public for support we. How do they support we? One, by paying their bills. Two, by protecting our infrastructure. Because if you go pull pole, you go sell them. That you don't give more burden on EDSA because EDSA then go replace that pole again. If you go pull that person meter and hose, you go that use that, you put on the side. That person go report to EDSA. Now EDSA back at that body for go replace that meter. That means say that meter the way EDSA for don't go give other person, they go give back to the person where they don't get meter. So you don't take EDSA go behind. And we can we plan on a yearly basis as to who's want for go, who's out day and who's want for go in the next year. So we want to make it very clearly, and also we got people in way they don't thief the meter or they get faulty meter, they get issues meter, they don't really know how to go about anything. I believe say we also need for make the public know for say one if then thief your meter. What you force you for do is you for write to EDSA officially. You write to EDSA say me na Mohammed Kamaya I the reside na so side. I get me meter what be use na the meter name this, na the meter number this, na the meter account this. You make a very clearly to we and you tell me the date as to when the thief meter and what thing happen. So if you don't do that, you send them to we, you send them to the commercial services director. Of course, the director go look into them, he will call a meeting, he will send an inspectorate team. This inspectorate team will go to host now for able to ascertain whether really you meter loss or then thief meter. So the inspectorate team will go now, he conduct an investigation as to what happened to the meter. He come with the investigation report to the commercial director. He go through them and see whether the meter native and farm. Then based on all that information that we don't feed the authority with, we can able for block the meter from the back end. That's when the customer not able for the person we don't go sell a meter or thief the meter and not go for utilize them. And again, we want to make customer them be bold enough for can make complaints on issues like that because it will also help you for track the person we don't thief that meter because there is a likelihood say it will go fix another house. When you fix another house, you get for recharge. So if we don't blacklist that number there for say this na thief and thief farm, if he attempts for can recharge, we'll be able for track them na the system and all them. We'll be able for track the location side and all them. But if we not get information as to what thing happen, we're not go for able for we're not go for solve the issue. So we also advise the customer and say, when anybody will encounter issues like that with the motive emitter, come to EDSA and complain. Similarly, we want to make people then be custodians of the facilities there. If you na community stakeholder, if you na community leader, if you na host, they ensure say the meter they will, the transformer they will, the cable them will, the pole them will. Una ensure say strictly anybody who wanna see the interfere with the facility there, una question them. Una ensure say na a proper staff of EDSA or the Ministry of Energy before he interfere by the canteen. Because if una left sit down, somebody go pull cable wey not to EDSA work e dey do na himself, you know work e dey do, wey pull that cable, you no know say come, e don go far. But now e dey left for blackout. So person will begin struggle again, forget EDSA for can fix that line there. So we advise it is but important that the community people take ownership of them infrastructures there, because if you take this property as your own property, you will look after and fine. Let them get security, because if they get security, people will watch them. Anybody can they ask them why you claim this pool, why you enter at this transformer substation. You question that person. If you don't give appropriate answer, we will hold them and report them to the nearest police station. They will investigate. That will not say whether not EDSA staff or not EDSA staff. Now I make all we staff them. They get ID cards. So a person go tell you say I can work for EDSA. Make sure your ID card. If you doubt your mark, if you get money at EDSA, verify. We go 672, me say nobody out. Verify and know and ascertain whether this person are really na EDSA work you can do or not to EDSA work you can do. So that if we do down there, I believe say most of, I'll tell you my brother, most of the blackout, some area they get blackout now because the people they go thief wire. You go know you say they thief wire. The people they go thief cables them. They thief cables them from the poles. You get also dynamic at times we can talk say for me I don't want people that misconstrue partial outage to total outage, because you get some area them because truck and bank pole that whole connection you don't disturb them. So we know they will forget flow of power another line pass they can redo them again. So if they don't get flow of power, it means to say they don't get access to electricity, pass we go reinstall again the bank pole and the cut wires. So again, if them bang the pole, if them cut the wire, if lightning disturb you the wire or the pole, you self as customer call EDSA, make complaint. Instead of you just, some people can just sit and say, EDSA don't give you light for 10 days. Light this so, but because you get that minor issue in your network and you know report them to EDSA, EDSA not able to go rectify them, you did it in blackout. So we want for let all man enjoy the electricity. The Minister of Energy, he don't part to advance all over the country for ensure say he actualize the promises where the president will make, where he talks say they increase access to electricity. So now make even now you see say you get this 6 districts electrification, you don't see even the Minister of Finance, they support the Minister of Energy for ensure say they actualize this project. The Minister of Energy, we don't go to the district headquarters towns together with the contractors for go sign the agreement. Now finance don't pay 30% of the money so the project they can start. So then for the 6 district electrification. Of course, we all know say both we don't declare boy in Kenema, but this light issue. Now the minister don't ensure say now as I talk to you, the generation capacity don't increase and people they get light on a daily basis. They will get light. If you don't get light, if light go 1 hour, you know say after 1 2 hours they come back now you use. And you know only tap day the minister don't revive this project what they call Bokenema rehabilitation and expansion project. Now the contractors will begin mobilize materials in the field. We mean to say where the work they can begin. Boga forget brown new cables, brown new poles, brown new substations, brown new transformers, and even meters as well. So, and also the line the pass from Bo to Kenema, and they drop now the village for go reach Kenema. We mean to say after that project, the Bo and Kenema they get one of the best networks, if not the best. So these are the drives for the minister they make. Also, not everybody's West African Power Pool project. We mean to say we go for the get power from with sister companies. This project back, I want to tell people and say we don't day ahead of with sister companies them. We don't construct with substations. Right now they didn't connect for complete the big Congo substation. So when one say substation are complete, and also be the coming of this coronavirus, like they don't commission that project they we don't begin get light from the project. So all this they now the pipeline, and by the end of by the end of the year, that one need for long complete down and commissioner. They will begin to have. So you see, we also get this solar park project, the minister, the this rural energy project, he also did. So the ministry, EDSA, EGTC, then they move. The minister then ensure say he put in team together and ensure say the development way he wants for let this country get in terms of electricity. He gets one thing what the minister can always talk is that even the flagship program of the president and the government now free quality education, but free quality education will never succeed without electricity. So now make himself in as much as the free quality education they go if I go in tandem with electricity development. So now make it ensure say everything component will come to electricity down to the fact that as I talk to you, the minister, they install transformers in communities on a daily basis, and instead they go and inspect communities where necessary, say this area don't expand, if make sure say they go fix transformer, then they go commission and transformer back. Of course, you don't do your back say you don't go turn sword for light for Mashaka don't do for years, no light for ages, no light for decades, no light. Now the minister under this leadership, they go light na Mashaka. Of course, you don't hear about Bathos is geographically located in Freetown, na the rural side, and before and after Bathos, communities can get light, but Bathos they at the middle, no light. Now the minister don't go light na Bathos, and since he become minister, the highest transformer ever installed na Bathos, on 1,100 kV. So these are the things that would happen within the energy domain.
Okay, Sanepo, you really don't tell me about the development we EDSA report. But back to this meter issue. Plenty people later on the day then they complain to EDSA about the meter because they see someone gets a meter. The meter the day for enter, I mean you credit, if you don't go buy you credit go table meter error, and people like they can complain to EDSA, and then for them EDSA will go for they can say for go clear that error day it go day 1 week 2 week waiting that the easy can make it stay long.
I can tell you why some meter they get they require error code. Try the first it be easier for let people and get error code and clear tampered issues na the meter. You know why now we don't restrict them to an extent that if you get issues with the meter, we'll go investigate them first, because there is no way that meter will go tampered or will go error if somebody no interfere with them. In most cases, people that interfere in the meter what they're not supposed to do, then either they attempt for divert the connection so that they will pay less amount or so. So what do we do now when you get error? Of course, not only for report, but you don't go just come, you just report. You want to do them instantly. No, we have need for be sure for say really you concern in genuine, because 7 out of 10 people and when they report the issue, they will go check. Now they don't damper either because of illegal abstraction, or somebody don't go, they don't attempt for we get seal perimeter. We attempt for on seal it they create you meter to go tamper. And when you go tamper, you begin get problem with you electricity connection I use. So pass it come to EDSA. So now I make most times when the people they come, we go check. We go check, we validate for see yes. Probably not by natural occurrence, you meter go error. Would they give you tamper code to fix them? If you go check for say yes indeed you now tamper and tamper don't pass some days you don't pay, or some months you don't pay for, you don't buy credit. We will call you with system with the information we count. We will call you the system, we don't know say, we don't know when last you charge, how you charge, how you consume electricity. Then it's easier for you. We can give you the tampered code. We send person. They go down for you easy. So it's not like negligence on the side of EDSA, no. But we want for be sure say our meters are protected. We want for be sure say nobody no interfere with infrastructures. We want for be sure say the people don't take responsibilities of the things they want to do.
Okay, now off the meter issue, we only see say EDSA, you mentioned about the West African power pool way they what's that the source way apart from EGTC, what the other source way EDSA they use for make sure say they able get light for supply the people them?
Of course, that's a very good question. The Electricity Act will make provision for independent power producers. Then, for instance, like UAC and so, if you get machines where you get 10 megawatt, you can come to EDSA and the Ministry of Energy, you say, but I get machines where they produce so megawatt. Una need them. Then if we need them, we'll go say we need them. We go into agreement. You go install them, we say you for install them. You begin generate. We generate to month on, you send invoice, we pay you. So now we get independent power producers. For instance, for Freetown, we get this car power ship. Car power ship now they complement the effort of Bumbuna. You don't also hear about Bumbuna hydroelectric dam, where then serve the feed on the feed the grids for ensure we get increased access to electricity. So of course, we get Bumbuna, we get car power ship, we get we generation company when EGTC. Then they get a time of plan same way they can come on as and when necessary. So also if you're gonna the provinces for both, you get an IPPD, we instead the help for the dam. We got the dam at Kenema, we gonna do the dam, we instead then send it give some outputs for ensure say it complement the thermal plants and both. So we get generating sincerely I want for make say as it is now we don't really get generation problem when it comes to electricity. Recently you don't hear you say the car power ship too we don't left this country. But what in government do? Government will go into another contract agreement with car power ship for me to increase the generation capacity from 30 megawatt to 60 megawatt. So then day up and running, we also get Bumbuna, they up and running, and when necessary we can ask with sister company for when they bring come the thermal plants and more. So for generation we are fine.
Okay, first of all, you mentioned say when I don't go into another agreement for say make car power ship now begin produce. We also have two been there. So then two car power ship 1 and car power ship 2. Waiting na the energy with them in the supply with the all two been there. Now almost what each been the supply.
Wouldn't be there. The car power ship 1 will give 30 megawatt. The car power ship 2 will give around 20 to 25 megawatt. Then as and when we demand for many come on. So in total, we take them to as 50 megawatt or at most 55 megawatt. Now the one car power ship will not increase in capacity. In they give now 60 megawatt. So they even give now an output more than within the two car power ship combined with the give. So we get if we combine the two now we get an excess.
Okay. Okay, but when it all two been there, the car power ship 1 we been on there all along now, so the another been gets the capacity for give this 60 megawatts we make on go come with the car power ship 2.
98.1. I also make very clearly the capacity of the car power ship 1. The car power ship 1 we come we as a mod at Kintom, it gets a capacity of over 100 megawatt. What the issue was because we want the demand for electricity will increase now the east of Freetown, and the cables that we will get from from Falcon Bridge to Blackhall Road not be able to accommodate the demand of megawatts for the east. We will get evacuation problems. The evacuation problem we get now for take the power from Kintom 161 to Blackhall Road. So we'll not be able, so we'll be left out as EBD. So what will we do? We will go, the Ministry of Energy and EDSA, we renegotiate with car power ship 1 and talk to them, say the only option at that time was for me to bring another car power ship. So they become car power ship 2, where in them go, it be moored at Clienttown, because Clienttown is very close to the east. So what will happen? When they moored landing at Clienttown, if they connect them to the bats, maybe they generate now it is sent directly at Blackhall Road, because Blackhall Road not the far from Clienttown. Why? The one who will be able for transport from Blackhall from Falcon from Kintom 161 will send them back now Blackhall Road. So we can have Blackhall Road, it is synchronized with the one with the car power ship 2, then they get a demand capacity, then they distribute to the people. Similarly, with Kintom 161, we car power ship 1, they send the power instead of they distribute to everybody. So this is the generation mix how they operate.
Okay, the program you listen to na me the show will come to you live from the Democracy 98.1 FM, and we bring the program come to you. My name is Samuel Evans. Inside the program today, my guest na Sanepo, we in the head of communication na EDSA, and it only give you a whole overview of EDSA operations and everything we EDSA they do. Now sir, now EDSA with the when the car powership one go, people really feel say that they cosmic now some side in the lights can they some side in the lights not in the some money grumble say when all student ship they have been there they get like 24-hour lights uninterrupted, but now the lights they go off. So is it that now because of now one ship make the lights they ration at some area?
No, that not the situation. You know, dynamic when I will commence the campaign on the departure of car partnership too, I will make them very clearly say we not go want to let people they misconstrue the fact that we don't dey get minor challenges in the network. Because I be envisage this for say even when we don't dey get minor challenges in the network, but because car partnership too don't go, people they will begin for say, hey now because car partnership don't go, and I make we still get we dey get problem and it. No, we don't dey get minor challenges. I mean before now we don't dey get cut wires now the system. And when you wire cut, pass for complain, we go fix that before you get reconnected. If you get we don't dey get bank poles, we don't dey get transformer problems in communities, we don't dey get transformer blast, we don't dey get some minor challenges on this network. So we dey talk say we don't let people they misconstrue the fact that we don't dey get minor challenges on the network for the departure of card partnership. So in similar vein, we want for encourage we customer them for say just like how they know they complain to EDSA when they get issues them. Make them continue for complain and make them not think to say now because now make remember say we begin talk first I talk say we don't let people then misconstrue partial outage to total outage. Now then kind of issue there. So the assurance is we still get the required network and we are trying our best to ensure that we maintain stability in the network. So as I talk to you, we got stability in the network. The network is up and running. Passed for yesterday because of that bridge na Savage Street by St. John. That street, I'm sure you when you see that bridge book yesterday, we got underground cables there. So we did the pass for go east. So it became small problem yesterday. But we engineers and we don't go there, then they try for fix the problem. I think say they even restore some areas them yesterday and then they continue for restore the other areas them until the work then complete the work. So of course, family them would they get we not deny that fact say we dey get minor challenges, but we encourage you now say we experience minor challenge in your area, call EDSA on 672 or you call me number 076336791 and make your complaints. Then we will find way for get onto you and we send with technicians them and engineers them for go resolve the problem.
Okay, and one other thing again, we see something in the winning problem that can happen in some area, people not able to know. As you know the head of communication, we see other agencies them we like take for example like Guma Valley, if they get problem with any of the supply power and can pull a public notice say when so area no go able get water or because of get problem so side, so we try for fix them. Why EDSA no go dey make sure say they inform the public when anything happen so people go dey aware and know say okay this not to anything a problem get that area and I make when they get lights.
Well, I don't know. I don't know you frequent visit on social media because if you don't dey follow up social media publications, you will know say of course EDSA don't send public notices past all the other institutions. That I dey tell you for fact. I get a put on my phone with a pull public notice almost every week because you know we deal with the general populace. Every household wants electricity, every community wants electricity, every individual want to get access to electricity, so we deal with everybody and the business what they do number one. So we are always in constant communication with the public and in only tap day on press release or the press release. If you go we EDSA, we get WhatsApp groups, we get Facebook, we get Twitter, we get Instagram, all of our activities, even up to the one we minister self they do commissioning, bathos, all side, and they on social media. So we are constantly. Yesterday, way this thing happened, this bridge, we broke. I believe Eastern, I believe 2 mark radio yesterday. I did it say 9, 10 o'clock, just because it affects that community. I was there, I did to market you, I informed the people them, they were happy about it. We discussed, they send messages them, they congratulate the ministry, they congratulate EDSA for the good job what they do. So we are in constant communication with the public. And one for assuring for say, in as much as we will continue to communicate to them when issues arise, we also want them for when they also communicate with we if they experience issues there and in different residencies.
Okay, now moving forward now, waiting the consumers them they expect from EDSA as we wrap up the program now.
Well, the consumer, the motive we expect from EDSA is that we the fight them very hard. We try for ensure say we provide the services with the customers therefore enjoy. Most especially, we try for ensure say we increase access to electricity. But similarly, we want to make the public help EDSA for make EDSA self grow. And the only way the public will help EDSA for let EDSA grow now for ensure say them pay them bills and refrain from illegal abstraction of electricity. And also for the one that with the thief meter, for the one with the thief meter, for the one with the thief light, we don't ready for now. We don't ready for wage war on now. Anybody who will cage, the law they bet you at one. And it bet you trans one. No compromise with that one day. So one from the public then go by the law, ensure say we want light, you contact EDSA, ensure say we want meter, you go na Kit, you go through the proper procedure, and you also customer not buy thief meter from anybody, because when you buy thief meter, now the same crime will also don't commit. If we catch you, they use meter on a thief meter, well, you and the thief man, you una two una go fall under the law. So please, we will help EDSA for go, we will help the country for develop, and we will help the Minister of Energy for actualize the dream.
Well,
is access to electricity.
Well, I want to say plenty thank you to you, Sir Nepo, the head of communications for EDSA We Don't Care inside the program, and can give you updates about EDSA operations and plenty information of within EDSA they do.
Thank you.
Well, Naya, the program midday show for today, Friday, September 18, go left you. Plenty thank you to my producer, Alex Lawrence Koma, and Michael Sambula. And also, I want to say plenty thank you to Michael Kavwa. We make you see the program on Facebook. And also, the Neil say, Radio Democracy will continue programs. Then we will bring the program come to you. My name Samuel Evers. Stay tuned.